Just a reminder, the Hunter School and the New England Salem Children's Village, hunterschool.org, salemchildrensvillage.org, needs your help. We're doing a fundraiser this week. This is the annual fundraising drive for this program's charity, which Louise and I started back in 1978. And the toll-free number to call is 800-897-8358. And we've raised, as of this morning, so far this week, we've raised, I think, about $3,000, and we're trying to get enough to put a new roof on, in particular, Mountain House and some of the other houses, some generators, a new kitchen, and to pave the driveway. So we've got a ways to go. Renee Davis is the parent of one of the students at Hunter School, and so knows about that program. The website, again, is hunterschool.org. Renee, thank you for being willing to come on the program and talk about your experience and your son's experience at Hunter School.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm just pleased to be here and to help raise money for the school.
Thank you. To whatever extent you're comfortable with it, you want to tell us the story of your son and how he came to Hunter School and what has happened since then?
Sure. So before finding the Hunter School, I guess you could surmise that Wilson's educational experience was basically a living hell. He has been diagnosed with severe ADHD and unable to function in a public school setting.
Right.
And after probably 2.5 years of attempting to make things work in the public school setting, I found the Hunter School. Mm-hmm. And it has radically changed our lives. Wilson went from being a child who was very rageful, throwing temper tantrums, but they would escalate beyond even temper tantrums because he was so incredibly frustrated. First, second, and part of third grade, he was an unmanageable child. We were alone in the house together, so it was just the two of us quite frequently. And he would get home from school and just rage because he was so incredibly frustrated. And in third grade, late second grade, early third grade, he would come home from school and share with me ideas about trying to hurt himself. So I took instant action as quick as I could and started looking at schools. And I found the Hunter School, and they've saved my child's life. They've saved my family life with Wilson. He's now in 6th grade, and just a radical shift. He's become very mindful of his energy and how his energy affects other people. He's happy-go-lucky. He's still incredibly ADHD, very, very busy guy, talkative, but he smiles. He's engaged with people. He's loving. He has friends. The Hunter School gave us a gift, possibly one of the best gifts I could have ever received in my life, and that's my son. I have a son that is just a joy to be with now.
Wow. That's wonderful. We're talking with Renee Davis. She's the parent of one of the kids who is at the Hunter School that we're raising funds for right now to upgrade the facilities a little. The toll-free number is 800-897-8358, 800-897-8358, and anything that you can do to help is much appreciated. Renee, how did you find the Hunter School?
I actually, in my process of trying to get Wilson help, I had independently hired a school psychologist here in northern New England, and he had heard of your school.
I see.
And what was really interesting was I had read your books, Tom. I was this frantic parent, just scouring anything I could find on ADHD. Uh-huh. And your books were an incredible help. I didn't realize there was a school. And the school psychologist said, well, you really might want to look at the Hunter School. And the minute I walked through the door, and I met Lori Ferris, I started to tell her my story, and it was a kinship instantly. Whereas my other experiences in the public school and the other schools I'd gone to look at for Wilson, there still felt like this judgment. There still felt like there was, we're not quite sure we want to take your child on. And they wanted to label him emotionally disturbed. He's not emotionally disturbed. He has severe ADHD. He has an inability to regulate his energy. He has an inability to regulate his emotions. That was then. Now, due to the Hunter School, he can regulate his emotions. They've given him the tools to be able to regulate frustration, aggression. They've given him the tools to be able to regulate energy he takes in from things he might see, whether it's the news or TV. I will say probably the only place he can't regulate still is if it's an engine, like on a four-wheeler or a truck. I mean,
I understand that.
He's a total little boy.
He's a boy.
You know? Exactly. I mean, he gets going right then and there.
Yeah.
So I never would have been able to enjoy that, though, had I not found the Hunter School to help us.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that it has worked so well for you. And Lori was on the show yesterday, and I should get her back to tell the story of Zach, her son, because her son's, and we didn't get into it on the air yesterday. I should have, because Lori's proud to tell the story. She went on Oprah's show and with her son Zach and told the story that her son went through a very similar experience to what you just described with your son, Renee. So, Renee, thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me, and please help the Hunter School.
Yes, and thank you, Renee. And for people who want to help out, it's 800-897-8358. That's 800-897-8358. And you can do it online at hunterschool.org.